Whenever I go to my local used media shop, I keep an eye out for these CCC, Classic Cult Collection releases. And so, over the years, I've put together a little collection. Some of the titles are classics from the VHS era, some end up being hidden gems, and some turn out to be nearly unwatchable trash starring Richard Harrison. But at €5 a pop, it's worth the risk, not unlike a coin-operated glory hole. Welcome to Exploitation Reviews, and me, Rob, and today I'm taking a look at The Aftermath from 1982. This is a low-budget vanity project from filmmaking auteur Steve Barkett, which is impressive in a way. I mean, if I ever decide to make a low-budget vanity project, it won't be something difficult to shoot like a post-apocalyptic sci-fi film. Unless it's a post-apocalyptic sci-fi film about a swarm of insects that eats women's clothing. Naked swarm. Their food is your dignity. Yeah, I'd watch that. But that's not the direction writer, producer, director, star Steve Barkett went in. Let's see what he did. After some cloudy credits, we open on space with some familiar-sounding music. That is the most shameless Star Wars ripoff since my wife wore her edible slave Leia outfit. Whew. Inside this Mattel ship, there's our guy Steve, here playing Newman. The crew of this ship can't reach anyone on Earth. This might be why. It seems that while our boys were out exploring space, the Earth went and had itself a little apocalypse. And it looks like one of the first things to go were the bras. So here down on Earth, some roving bands of bandits have taken over, and their leader is Sid Haig. Yes, this thing finally became worth watching. And he delivers some gory violence, which is well beyond what I can show you here on YouTube.
Man, I just work here.
But of course, we don't have to stay here. You can now support the channel on Patreon and get access to spicy versions of my reviews. Link is in the description. Back in space, our astronauts try to land their ship without help of a ground crew, so into the ocean they go.
It's only a model. Shh.
Newman survives. He finds some dead beachgoers and starts to figure out that things on Earth have gone sideways. He picks up some of the beach items he might need later. Yeah, lucky find for him. As an old Michigan beach kid, I've been to the beach thousands of times, and not once have I ever taken a machete.
Because that wouldn't be right.
One of the other crew members also crawls out of the ocean, and that night our two heroes meet their first post-apocalyptic mutants. At daylight, our astronauts climb the hill and see what the world looks like now. That looks pretty cool. Not naked swarm cool, but pretty cool. Eventually, our astronauts find a place to fix up and move into. And this mansion belonged to exploitation filmmaker Ted V. Mickles. You might know him as the director of Astro Zombies, starring Tura Satana. But to me, he'll always be the director of One Shocking Moment, which was one of the very first roughies that I ever saw and is kind of responsible for getting me interested in that subgenre. Thanks, Ted. Anyway, after fixing the place up, it's time to start a family. But don't get your hopes up, this isn't a post-apocalyptic gay romance.
No fair.
Newman meets a museum director, and this guy is sci-fi superfan Forrest J. Ackerman, the founder of the wildly influential magazine Famous Monsters of Filmland. He was also the literary agent who represented Ray Bradbury and Isaac Asimov, and he was the guy who coined the phrase sci-fi. Legend. Unfortunately, the scene he's in here is nearly pointless and goes on for a very long time. It sucks. But at the end of it, Newman adopts this boy, and that's Steve Barkett's real-life son, Christopher. A short while later, Newman meets a woman who had escaped from the clutches of Sid Haig's gang. They hit it off. Her ticket sellers are perky, not pendulous. if you're watching on Patreon.
I'm going to check that out.
So now, in this post-apocalyptic nuclear wasteland, Newman's got himself a nuclear family. What are the chances? Okay, so now that all the pieces are in play, there will be some action coming up with Sid Haig's gang, but that's enough out of me as far as plot goes. Let's talk some highlights. For a low-budget film, there are some impressive post-apocalyptic shots here. On the special features of the DVD, they talk about how they did them.
Here are some of the miniature cars that were in the destroyed city in the aftermath. Behind it, we have the matte painting. This was actually a picture that, again, was painted over. Here we have the doors that are painted open, and the buildings that really weren't destroyed are painted to look destroyed. Very effective. It's amazing to look at these now and see, or rather, and realize how effective that they look in the film.
That's pretty cool. The mutants also look pretty cool in an amateurish, inconsistent kind of way. Another thing I like about this movie is its shocking violence.
I love violence. I positively adore it.
It's not shocking in the ultra-gory sense, but in the sense that it's willing to go to some dark, sadistic places. Places that typical Hollywood movies like this normally don't go to. There's a great, slow stabbing scene, for example, and, even better, this movie kills children. Gotta love that.
Some folks have a strange idea of entertainment.
But beyond the look and the ultra-violence and the dead children, the film is far from perfect. Like an auteur action star advertising mustache rides, this film has some shortcomings. Well, most of the problems in this film have the last name Barkett. Kid Barkett, Christopher, can't act, but he's a kid, so all is forgiven. But Big Daddy Steve, this is where I got some problems. He's just not believable in any of the roles he has in this movie. He doesn't have the physicality to be believable as an action star. He doesn't have the charisma to be believable as a love interest. Okay, admittedly, he does have the pajamas to be believable as a dad. I'll give him that. But overall, this is a vanity project in the most vain way possible. Just zero self-awareness. And it's not just on-screen problems. He was the writer and director of this thing as well, and those roles weren't competently handled either. One of the most egregious offenders in these regards is that we sometimes get voiceover telling us about stuff we see on the screen.
As I was beginning to leave, I saw a small portable radio.
You've probably heard the writing advice, show, don't tell. You know what's worse? Show and tell. Okay, at this point in the review, I give some more examples of bad writing in the movie. I teach writing at a university, so I have some level of expertise in the matter, but still, it's pretty boring. Look at me, droning on and on about the hero's journey, parallel structure, the rule of threes. We're 8 minutes into this review. Nobody wants to hear this. Oh, was that a little joke there? Good job, me, idiot. Too little, too late. Everyone already left the video to watch someone who understands their audience.